And good evening to everybody. Welcome to this week, which is session 8, series 3, and it's the Maternity and Midwifery Hour. So welcome everybody, and I'm really glad to see everybody. I can't see you, but I know you're there. My name's Sue Macdonald, and I'm the curator for the Maternity Hour and for the Midwifery and Maternity Festivals. I might mention those right at the end of the show. These sessions, as many of you will know, were designed in a kind of response to the COVID pandemic, really as a way of getting some continuing professional development opportunities for midwives, for student midwives, for people who want to become midwives. Also, though, for medics and for doulas, and I think we do have some mums who also tune in to see what we're up to. So welcome to everybody, and I hope you get something out of the hour. Thank you to Matflix, and these are the video streaming for midwifery experts, and they make sure that this will be recorded and you'll have access to this. You can tell your friends about it. Very good for revalidation, those midwives out there. Excellent if you've got a little assignment due, students, because there's loads and loads of information, loads of fantastic experts that we've had, especially over the Maternity and Midwifery Hour year. We've had some fab people, and we have 3 fab people tonight. We're going to be looking, and this is part 3 of a little series. We've been looking at haemoglobinopathies. And we're looking really today at some of the challenges and some of the complexities around the whole issue of supporting women and families with sickle cell and thalassemia. So I'm going to be joined by, you see, the wonderful speakers we have this evening. We have Joyce Adu Amankwah, specialist haemoglobinopathies midwife, and consultant haematologist Rachel Kesse-Adu, and consultant haematologist Emma Drasar. And we're going to start and put them all on the spot and ask them to provide us with a little moment of the week. So, Emma, how about you?
So my moment of the week was when I was out for a run yesterday, and it was still light, even though it was later in the day, and the blossom was coming through on the trees and the bulbs were coming out as well. And especially after the last year, it felt like spring was coming, and I felt a feeling of optimism about things.
It's a wonderful moment. Spring is my favourite time. That's wonderful. Thank you so much. How about Joyce? Have you got a moment? I know you've been on sort of holiday this week, Joyce.
Yes, I should be, but busy with other things and work as well. But finally, from tomorrow, I take time to rest and enjoy the days left. So that's what I'm looking forward for. And that's
wonderful.
Really contemplating. Thank you.
Thank you, Joyce. That's wonderful. And last is Rachel. Do you have a moment you can share with us, Rachel?
I do. And I know we're trying to get away from the pandemic, but I'm going to yank us back. So last week in our department, we had a session on the COVID vaccines, trying to encourage everyone to go and have it. And it's similar to this sort of session. You hold it, a virtual thing. You don't know what your audience is, what they're doing. And I've had 2 HCAs in our department come up to us yesterday who are both going to take the vaccine after that session. So I was very pleased.
Wow, fantastic. That's wonderful to hear. That's real influence, Rachel. Fantastic. Good news. Okay, well, thank you for that. We'll just do the usual slots now. I usually do a point at this point to just say we're still in lockdown. But, of course, many of you will know that we're coming out of lockdown at some point with our roadmap. Now, this is also a good time for me to remind you that there are resources available as you go. And one of the resources is the roadmap document. I will warn you, it's about 40 pages, so don't print the whole thing out. But there are some quite snazzy little infographics, which are quite handy. I've printed the whole kind of summary, and it's on my fridge just so I can check what I'm allowed to do and what I'm not allowed to do. And what I will say is don't book a holiday yet. Not yet, just in case. Well, that's my superstitious bit of me. I won't organise one until I can really see that I can have a holiday. We actually need to say a big kind of tribute to some of the lost people, the people that we've lost ourselves and our friends, families, and to people who've died too soon. We can't forget that still the death toll is still there. And it's still very difficult to handle, knowing that so many people are dying and are still very unwell. And it's a good time to say thank you to the intensive care and high dependency care staff who are looking after very ill people at the moment and really putting their heart and soul, working over the odds. As our NHS, I'm always stunned by how fantastic our NHS is. We just rise to the challenge every time. So thank you to those staff for what they do to look after those people who are sick and their families and going over I won't say overboard, they're just going over the edge for everybody. And a big virtual hug and thanks to everyone in maternity care, because maternity services carry on no matter what. We can't stop elective births because they just carry on happening. So thank you to everyone who's working so hard there. And a big thank you now to all the people in the vaccinations centres, and Rachel's just described, you know, managing to feed those vaccination centres with people. And that's a big task which is carrying on, and amazing numbers are going through, absolutely fantastic. And a great big thank you to all the key workers who are keeping everything going. And I say this every week, and I mean it every week, because we need all these services that keep the place going. And even everyone from the postman to the milkman to the refuse collectors, everyone who keeps things going, everybody who just goes into work even when they'd rather not go to work. Anyway, right, on to this week's news. I haven't got a huge amount. I know it's the LGBT History Month, but there hasn't been a lot that I've been aware of, but you know, there's a link on the resources page. Vaccinations are well underway. We've hit over 18 million. We might have hit 19 million. I'm not sure if anyone knows the exact numbers today. I didn't hear the news because I was getting ready for this, but I know the numbers are going really well. And another good piece of news, I think, is that 600,000 vaccines of the Oxford vaccines have landed in Ghana today. And I know it's a saying that we have, until everyone's safe, nobody's safe. And really, it's so heartwarming to know that we are sending, things are going out all over the world. It's really important that we look after everyone that we can, as well as looking after ourselves. Also, the RCM has updated their COVID guidance, and there is a series of Q&As for pregnant women. That's been going on Twitter today. There was also an interesting paper, and again, this is on the resources page, from the Lancet on public health scheme, on the public health approach. And this is devising policy on infant feeding and mother-infant contact, i.e., separating mothers and babies does have a detrimental effect, which we kind of knew and we knew would be, but this is a very useful piece of research for you to have a look at. So check out the resources page. Okay, I did say a little earlier that this is the third in the series. We've been very lucky to have these three specialist colleagues come along to share their knowledge with us, focusing on haemoglobinopathies, really important area, and not it's not a simple area. You get some information from a textbook, but some of the things I know that Emma and Rachel and Joyce are going to talk about aren't always straightforward in the textbook, because guess what? Women and families are quite complex in themselves, and they may not just have one problem, and they also have a whole social makeup that we have to take account of. So we're going to be looking at this evening, and we're looking at the importance of this interdisciplinary work and teamwork and their communication. I think that'll come through very well from our three colleagues this evening. And we're going to start with Joyce.
Thanks for watching this video from the Maternity and Midwifery Forum. For more expert opinion and analysis, hit the button below to subscribe.